jumping into these game 2 lines, gentlemen, and taking off with the NL, which kicks off, or these game 2s are on Wednesday night. Thursday obviously has those AL game 2s. So the first one here, we have the Phillies and Zach Wheeler on the mound there, taking on Kyle Wright in Atlanta. We've got plus 120 on the Phillies money line in this one, a total of 7.5 runs there, minus 105 for the over, a little bit more juice there. The Padres, they pitch at 5:37 p.m. on the West Coast late night. For the East Coasters, obviously 8:37 p.m. Pitch there. Darvish and the Pods are in LA again. Clayton Kershaw on the mound for this game 2, minus 190. Heavy favorites for the Doyers at home again after they did manage to close things out there in game 1. Those AL games, we've also got the Mariners and Luis Castillo on the mound in Houston taking on Framber Valdez, plus 135 for those Mariners after dropping game 1. The Guardians and Shane Bieber are back in New York taking on nasty Nestor Cortez, minus 140 for Nestor, and those Yankees at home after they did pick up that game 1 as well. So let's run things back to that NL, Nate, and kick it off with that Atlanta and Philly series. As we mentioned, we've got minus 140 for Kyle Wright and the Braves at home in this game 2. We've also got the Braves with a series price now plus 135 as they are down that one game. Philly minus 165 to win the rest of this series. So kick things off for me, Nate. Anything interest you in those series prices, and definitely talk about this game 1 for me, or game 2 rather for me.
Yeah, I'll start by talking about game 1 and how the Phillies really got fortunate at the end there. Everything you worry about in terms of their terrible bullpen, basically they had a defensive liability in Nick Castellanos make a game-saving grab to avoid that total bullpen meltdown. I think you can definitely look at the series in terms of the Braves coming back to win this thing. They're now plus 135 on the series, minus 135 to at least force a game 5 if you get the plus 1.5 line. I would fire on both of those. I think the Braves are a better team, as we all know. It's just one game here. Phillies, I give a slight edge in the pitching matchup here, though, in game 2, for sure. I mean, Kyle Wright has the talent, though, to turn in a good outing. Phillies are much better against lefties than righties, so I don't think we're going to see a similar implosion here. He was 2-1 with a 2.8 ERA in those meetings with the Phils. Zach Wheeler also matches up well against the Braves, who are better against lefties. But if you just look at how these lineups profile against righties, Braves obviously much better overall. And then the bullpen edge so extreme that I think the Braves will be able to pull this one out. And even if they don't, I mean, Aaron Nola is not a guy that I necessarily think will shut the door in game 3. I think the Braves will hang around one way or another, and that this will be probably a 5-game series, pretty spicy. I don't know if you feel bullish enough about your Bravos winning 3 straight. You could get plus 500 on that, Mo. But I do think that they'll be all right, that they showed signs that they're the better team here, despite Max Fried's rough outing, and that they'll be back to take control of the series at some point.
I think this line is pretty fair for game 2. I had Braves minus 120 as a fair price. It is a good spot for the Braves, though, mainly because of the bullpens, like you were saying. So the Braves already had an edge in the pens, especially with David Robertson being out now. But if you look at the way Philadelphia approached game 1, they really went heavy on bullpens because Ranger Suarez struggled so much. Frankly, they were very lucky. The Braves only scored 1 run on him, 5 walks in just 3 innings. So definitely very, very fortunate to only allow 1 run with that line. They use a lot of their good relievers. Connor Brogdon, more than 20 pitches. Sir Anthony Dominguez, only 18, but he went 2 innings. Jose Alvarado, Zach Eflin, who I guess is going to be their closer now. It's just like they kind of emptied the clip. So I think they're going to try to ride Wheeler pretty hard today. Where the Braves, when you look at how they did it, they let their lesser arms soak up the innings in hopes that the offense would bring it back, which is what happened, obviously. Colin McHugh is probably the only pretty good reliever. I guess Dylan Lee had a decent season too. But yeah, the Braves basically saved all their good arms. So I would say what that means to me is I'd be watching to try to get the Braves live in this game. Try to see basically if they drive up Zach Wheeler's pitch count. Whether they're ahead or behind, I think it's going to be a good situation to bet the Braves live if Zach Wheeler looks like he's not going to be able to go 7.
I mean, if you told the Phillies fans, though, that they'd be up 1-0 and then they'd have the pitching edge in game 2, I think they would take it for sure. And I mean, we've been talking Phillies since, before the postseason started as the team that, at least with the juice and then what the momentum they had riding into this postseason, the familiarity they have with the Braves, it does seem like this game is a lot close. This series, rather, is at least a lot closer to even. Obviously, the Phillies now favored with that 1-game lead in such a short series. But tonight is such a pivotal game for the Bravos, and that bullpen I expect to be much better than Phillies.